welcome to Notes of Nara. My name is Naja Rashida, and the last video I think was a car talk, and I wanted to bring it on home, if you will. So brought my beautiful wolf flute here with me. Blue Bear flutes, check them out. Handmade, handcrafted from the state of Alabama, I believe. Awesome, wonderful. We'll get into that more in another video. May this message find you well and whole. So starting today, I'm just going to make a huge, bunch of videos, messages that have been coming through constantly. I have my handy dandy yellow creative notebook full of ideas and notes and things that I want to share with you. So yes, I want to get into connection, the word connection. I touched on this very briefly without, going into the details, and I will refrain from going into details because there are certain things that, I don't want to put emphasis on, and more so the overall message. But recently I've made a wonderful soul connection with a very special person. And it really dawned on me. Sometimes when you meet a brand new person, or let's say, like, for instance, last Friday I met a family member for the very first time in my 36 years of living. I had no idea that she existed. When you reconnect with other human beings, this reconnection is crucial, right? Because it's a wonderful mirror of what remains disconnected inside you. A lot of the time when we meet, or we, let's say we have a reunion with another soul, a like-minded soul, a heart connection with another soul, it is just a reminder and a remembrance of who we are. But not just that. So the question that came up to me during a meditation recently was, where is the disconnection within ourselves? A lot of the time, the people that we connect with will mirror back to what we are running away from, what we're wounded with inside. And sometimes these connections are so overwhelming and so powerful that it destabilizes us in a way. It rips open the illusions of limitations that we, put in place to self-preserve, right? Or self-preservation, to protect ourselves. I, for the past 2 years, have been in the process of healing. I mean, we're always healing. There will always be something that needs to be healed. There will always be something that needs to be released. There will always be something that needs to be forgiven. Always. And so, there's always an opportunity to forgive or to heal something, right? And what really dawned on me with this recent connection that I'm still in the process of integrating and processing, because it's a huge, substantial one for me, is this. On our journey for, self-healing, or we're healing with a group of people, we have to stay heartful of this realization. There are seasons and cycles and seasons in life where you need to be alone, right? You have to develop autonomy and sovereignty, and yes, self-preservation, and yes, just being in solitude by yourself, dealing with yourself, hearing your thoughts, meeting your demons, meeting your angels. Really focusing on the wounded child, the wounded inner child, because we all carry that, right? Hearing what your victimhood mentality has to say. And you need a lot of alone time for that. And so for a long while, I've been on this, on and off for my life. I will go, after a huge, separation from whether it's a career path or a relationship, I go into like this weird hermit mode, hibernation phase, where I develop my own cocoon like a butterfly, a chrysalis. And over time, you know, you get used to your own thoughts. You get used to your own feelings. You get used to the sound of your own voice. You get used to eating alone. You get used to processing things and handling everything by yourself. But we have to remind ourselves that we are human. We are beings having a human experience. We are social. It's embedded and coded in our DNA to blend in with others, to build community, to create experiences with each other, so that those experiences can create opportunities for what? Healing. And so I have recently gone through I would maybe almost quote it as a spiritual awakening in a way, because for the past year, I've been in this space of a mind-numbing experience. I'm wearing this old cape that became a second skin of just numbness, just feeling numb to all that I did. And as you know, I was in grad school, you know, getting my master's and doing the right thing, working full time, doing the right thing, for, you know, for people, for the kids, for the public, just doing the right thing for everything outside of myself, because it was the right thing to do, right? And I remember making a video over a year ago when I embarked on this academic journey to expand on my professional path as an educator. I said, I'm going to put my creative life to rest. I'm going to just let it just take the back seat. And I allowed that, and I entered into the service mindset of serving others. Serving. And over time, as the weeks and the months went by, I became numb to what I was doing. Numb to teaching, numb to the working environment, numb to my colleagues, numb to my grad work. Everything was just completely numb. I didn't feel anything anymore. All the while I was doing my spiritual work. I was, you know, taking all the space I needed to work on my issues, even going to taking therapy sessions, reading books, you know, speaking to my mentor from time to time. I was doing all the things that one could do with self-healing. But then you reach a point where that chrysalis, right, that cocoon that you create to focus on your self-healing turns into something a bit harmful and toxic. Because then you begin to tell yourself, well, I am a sovereign, autonomous being, and I should be able to handle everything on my own. I should be able to heal myself completely on my own, because I am one with all things, and everything is everything and nothing. So I don't need community in that way. I don't need to rely on anyone. That's very toxic, and it was becoming a subconscious practice until Spirit said enough. Soul said enough. You weren't meant to disconnect or to connect to source in this way. You weren't meant to disconnect your heart space in this way at all. And so thus the current and currently ongoing connection, it manifested in a very profound way for me. And it ripped that chrysalis open. It ripped that cocoon open. My heart began to open and expand in a very different way. And it was like a heart awakening again, freeing myself from that weird skin coat I was wearing for a whole year, right? Like no passion in what I was doing, no passion in what I was doing, no sense of purpose, just working, studying. I remember when I was in music school, and I loved every bit of studying my music for hours on end. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't even a job. It was just something that it was all about mastering. And I enjoyed that. And, you know, when in the Western world and Western modern day society, they have drilled in everyone's mind that education, a quality education, the only way to do that is to go through their system and to get your certification, right? And that's how you become qualified, right? That's your gateway into getting the little tiny boost in salary. This is the only way that will open up other doors. In many respects, that is very true. But in many respects, that too is changing and evolving, right? And So it's like I now feel liberated. I feel free. I don't feel attached to the dread of that old skin, just sludging it on my back. It was tiring. And so be aware of the connections that you meet, because they are always mirroring back to you what is disconnected within you. There are 3 things that people typically chase after: community, sense of belonging; partner, to be loved by another; and your career, a sense of purpose. And so your community, a partner, and whether that's marriage or creating your own family, right, and career, all the three of these things are huge, are substantial parts of being of connection, right? Without community, without a partner to, I guess, confirm or validate or mirror back to the love that you have within yourself, and you're able to receive, and they're able to give, and you're able to give, they're able to receive, and a lack of purpose, you have no place in the world. It feels dismantled in a way, and my whole life has felt dismantled this summer. June was rough, but I made it out. I'm here, I'm okay. And I just wanted to share this with you. And I'm not saying you have to use and look at everything as a mirror all the time. But if you know you're going through some substantial change or huge stagnation or really big life decisions, and all of a sudden you start meeting very specific, powerful connections with people, and you're going through something transformational, you really need to pay attention to that. Really, really, I can't advise that any stronger, really, because it's something that, I didn't know I was doing. I was cutting my heart off. I knew I was wounded. I mean, we all have our wounds, right? We all have our wounds, but, what happened with, the school and the grant and the teaching thing, that really hurt. Like, that did hurt me, because of how it was handled. I'm just like, ew, I was just completely turned off and hurt by it, and yeah, you'll hear people say, well, don't let a career issue get you down. Don't let a partnership get you down. Don't let your lack of community or connection to community get you down. But we're social beings, and it's literally programmed in our genetic DNA for oneness and togetherness and family. And a lot of people are alone more than ever before in the age of the digital, in the digital age. With all this connection, it's amplifying what is disconnected within us as a whole. The more you find yourself using these devices online, right? You need to hit pause and ask yourself, in what areas am I disconnected? The following day, after my heart opening moment, I went into town, and I'm like, I'm gonna go see my sister. I haven't seen my sister in months. My nephews in months. My niece in months. And then following that, I went straight over to my little brothers. And it was very heart-filling. I felt whole. Those are the heart space is so incredibly important. And yes, it hurts. Yes, there are wounds. Yes, there's pain. Yes, there's weight that you gotta carry and work through. But when it's time to let that weight of that old skin off, you gotta let it go. You have to let it go. It was a burden. It was a burden. And I am so grateful for the past year. It taught me so much about myself, so much about the systems in place, so much about just doing something that you kind of aren't really passionate about, and you're doing it because you get a certificate and then a promise that you're going to get paid more money than where you started out from. A promise, right? Nothing is ever set in stone, ever. And so this is where I will leave you with this message. Just remember, Connection is important. To all my lone wolves, my singletons, my bachelors and bachelorettes, my I'll never love again, I'll never meet anyone ever again, or my vow of my celibacy people out there, my child-free people out there, people that live an atypical alternative way of life, and you find yourself in a place of solitude the majority of the time, please, by all means, understand that connection to life around you is equally as important as your inner spiritual work. It's crucial. I'm not saying you need to go out with your friends every weekend or even once a month. I'm not saying you got to go and party. I'm not saying you got to go on a long trip, to go visit forgotten family members once a month. I'm not saying any of that. A lot of the time, my own issues, with some family members I haven't seen in years or don't hear from, it's I'm not going to call them first. I'm going to wait until they invite me. Sometimes you just need to make the connection. The lesson is that you have to take that step forward. You have to make that first step and make that connection with them. That is the lesson. Not saying now, again, that connection can create an experience, and that experience can give space for healing, right? Can give opportunity for healing. And that healing can elevate you and then thus take you into a whole other space, into a whole other experiences and whole other opportunities. But once we disconnect ourselves, we cut ourselves off from the opportunity to see, to love, and the opportunity to receive love from people and places and spaces that are waiting for us to open. It's so easy to get caught up in your own head about this. Because I too was all about self-preservation. I'm an independent woman, blah, 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 blah. And it's and you don't have to be friends with the whole world. That's not what I'm saying either. I'm not saying you got to call everybody once a month and all that. I might do it what makes you feel comfortable, but I challenge you in this way. When you meet that one person, platonic, romantic, family member, friend, stranger, acquaintance, when you meet that one, have that one connection that sparks something in you, take heed. Take heed. Pay attention. Thank you so much. And I'll close out with some music.